It is currently 4:10 in the morning. I have been crying for about 20 minutes now. Distant Lands dropped at 3 in the morning. I stayed up to watch it. Now I'm not sleeping. This is a review of Distant Lands Together Again. Warning beforehand. I'm trying to keep it together, bro, but it's so fucking difficult. Excuse the language too. But there's gonna be spoilers. So watch Distant Lands Together Again. Actually, just watch all of them. I'm assuming y'all know what's going on in Adventure Time, but watch the Distant Lands and then come back to this video and watch the review, because I'm going to spoil everything. I might watch it again after this review just because I feel like crying again, and it really was the end of Adventure Time. But without further ado, let's get into the review. So the special starts out. The other Distant Lands didn't have this, but the special started out with the OG Adventure Time intro. The Adventure Time, come on, grab your friends, we're going to very distant lands. That. The other specials didn't have that. That's when I knew this was it. And then, man, and then it even had a title card, just like the OG show. It was really telling you this is the end of the series. We're done. And I just was already on the brink of tears. And then it cut to just an ice cream cave with Finn and Jake screaming and doing Finn and Jake stuff. I thought it would be a flashback. But basically Finn and Jake were just they stole ice cream from the people in the ice cream cave, and they were talking about how many flavors it had. And then Jake was talking about patience. He got impatient and broke out the cave, and they were in the Ice Kingdom. Ice King captured Lumpy Space Princess and Turtle Princess, and Finn and Jake went to go save them. Then they beat up the Ice King, they saved the princesses, and then Turtle Princess said that the library was being attacked by worms. But as Finn was saving the princesses, or after they saved him, he started crying, but he didn't know why he was crying. I thought that was weird. And then they went to the library where the worms were. They slayed the worms. Then Jake and Finn fist bumped, and Jake said, "Ow!" And Finn's arm made a metal noise. But in the scene, Finn had both his arms. He didn't have his robot arm. So I was confused at what was going on, because I thought it was just a flashback to some random encounter with the Ice King that was never shown. But it wasn't, because a bird captured a worm. They took the bird back to the treehouse. There were a bunch of dead people in the nest on top of the treehouse. And when they landed in front of the treehouse, there was a tombstone, and Jake started gravitating into it. Which I was like, oh my god, this is where Jake dies, or they're gonna show how Jake died. And then Finn's freaking out, and then like the screen glitches, and Finn's an old man for like all of like 2 seconds, and I was just like, hello. And then again, Finn starts freaking out. Jake goes in the grave. The tombstone says "Rip Jake," and then Finn, boom, turns into an old man. And he's got a robot arm. He's old. He's still got his hat, but he's fit. You know, he's missing his shirt because he doesn't wear a shirt anymore after Obsidian, which we saw, because as an old man, he still has the chest tattoo of Jake, and he has the robot in the artwork for Distant Lands. We saw Finn with a different robot hand and a weird like shoulder pad thing. Well, he's got that on, but he's just an old man. there were these leeches, I guess, that project happy memories or something. And Finn took it off, and he got rid of all of them. And he was talking about how there was no dungeon, or he doesn't remember how he got into this dungeon and stuff. And he was talking about how Jake was dead. And then he, like, I guess exits. It wasn't really. He didn't really exit the dungeon. The dungeon door opened up, and some gatekeeper said, "Welcome to eternity." And that's when Finn, old man Finn, says, "I'm dead." And the title card changes from Finn and Jake to Finn and Jake are dead. At that point, I was like, I don't think I can do this, man. And it was just, I was having a rough time already. And then Finn was talking about how he was dead, and how and the first thing that came to his mind after that was he could see Jake again. That was it. Nothing else. And I was just like, oh man, I definitely don't think I can do this. So then Finn, the dude asks Finn what his cause of death is. Finn says, who cares? Jumps over the head and runs into the gate and just is screaming, Jake, Jake, Jake. It's not Jake. It's the fox. Everyone's favorite friend, fox, though. The one that had the depressing bed that I relate to. And he was talking about how Finn's dead and how he can take any form he wants. Sorry, I'm getting all choked up again. And Finn goes to his classic look with the robot arm. And it's just, man. Finn immediately asked if anyone can take him to Jake. Because there are these things called dead worlds where all the dead people go to live. This thing, Undertaker, they're called Undertakers. They're just like people in hoodies with wings and skull masks. He has this thing that lets him teleport from each dead world. And Finn decides he wants to if he wants one of them to take him to Jake, or he can see death. And so Finn starts to look for death, so he can figure out where Jake is. And I'm trying to like speak, but at the same time I'm just trying to hold back all the emotions, because this is really rough for me. This is 11 years of my life and it's finally over. But enough of that. I gotta focus on the review. Finn goes to see Jake, or not Jake, but Death, and the Undertaker stop him. Another Undertaker says, "This is mine. This one's mine." And he's got a chip in his mask where you can see one of his eyes, and he was blue. And immediately in my head I thought, that's fucking Tiffany. And it was Tiffany. And Finn was just like, Tiffany? And then they exchanged rada. Oh, I forgot too. It was a cool scene, but when Finn was deciding which form he'd take, he turned into Shoko, the green girl that hung out with Bubblegum and fell in the acid and turned into the treehouse. And that was Finn's past life. He turned into Shoko for a second, and I thought that was like the coolest thing, because he acknowledged that he can be reincarnated. And so Tiffany took Finn into Death's castle, and Tiffany was showing him around, and Tiffany walked past Death's throne room, and Finn asked why he couldn't go in, and then Tiffany said no one can meet Death. So Finn knocks out Tiffany, runs into Death's throne room, and it's not the Death we know and love. It's like bigger snake Death, I think. It'll get explained later on, but he's basically a dickhead. He just drinks juice, wields a scythe, and just fucking doesn't want to do his job. He pretty much wants to stop reincarnation. He wants to destroy the dead worlds, and he just says fuck death, even though he's death. And he just kicks Finn out because Finn tries to beat him up, but Finn phases right through him. So Tiffany gets pissed because, Death is pissed at Tiffany. And then Finn is like, why I needed to do this? I needed to see Jake, rada, rada, rada. And then Tiffany's like, yeah, I know. They hugged, and Finn's like, then why I have to do this. Took Tiffany's thing that lets him travel to each dead world. And Finn teleports to a bunch of dead worlds. Another cool thing was they showed off Tree Trunks and Mr. Pig, which was great because Tree Trunks' voice actress passed away last year. So I feel like that was a tribute to her. Rest in peace. And then Finn went to a bunch of other different worlds looking for Jake, but he couldn't find him. They said go to the 45th dead world, or they cut back to New Death, and Tiffany was on his knees begging for forgiveness, and then New Death was like, go to the 45th dead world and destroy it. Finn was there, but I didn't know why he wanted the 45th dead world destroyed. So Finn was like giving up, and he was on the brink of tears, and a familiar voice told him to cut the waterworks. Finn like gets shocked, and the camera pans to Joshua and fucking Margaret, his parents, him and Jake's parents, and I just at that point I couldn't take it anymore. My tears started flowing, bro, and they were talking to Finn and Jake, or they were talking to Finn, and and then they were arming Finn up, and then she gave him talismans, and then Finn was like, why are you doing this? I just want to get to the 50th dead world. And they told him that to get to the 50th dead world, you have to not want to go there. So Finn decided he was going to try his hardest on not trying to go to the 50th dead world, and he leaves the house. And when he leaves the house, Jermaine shows up, and I'm just laughing because I fucking love Jermaine. And Finn's on the roof, thinking about how he doesn't want to go to the 50th dead world, and he just completely like tones out everything, closes his eyes, everything is silent around him. He's just in a complete zen mode. Meanwhile, Tiffany and the Undertakers, or Tiffany knocks on the door of the dog's house. I don't know. Yeah, dogs. Joshua and Margaret and Jermaine. And he says, I'm sorry. And it shows the Undertaker's throwing a giant bomb down and completely destroys the 45th dead world. And I was so pissed. I was like, you bring Joshua and Margaret back. They have an interaction with Finn, and they don't have an interaction with Jake, and you kill them off? And Finn woke up, and he saw what happened, and he started crying because, he thought his parents were dead. He can't get to the 50th dead world, and he turns back into Old Man Finn, and then Old Man Finn just turns into a skeleton. And then a golden light comes from the sky, and out comes Jake with the Jesus robe on. And he was like, Finn went back to iconic Finn with the robot arm. He's just hugging Jake, and Jake says, who are you? And the screen just fades to black. I said, what? And then Finn was freaking out. Jake's like, do I know you? And then Finn was like, of course you know me, I'm Finn. And then he's like, I'm just messing with you, Fern. I'm like, they mentioned Fern. And then Finn's like, you're still joking, right? He's like, yeah, you're my brother. And then he's like, your vibe was really throwing me off, so I came down here to see what it was. And then the Undertaker show up, and Jake starts going back to the 50th world because he's all emotionless and zenned out, so he doesn't really care about anything. And the Undertaker starts beating the shit out of Finn, and then Jake comes and saves the day. And then New Death shows up, goes through the 50th Zen because that's the one he wants to destroy first, finds out it's nothing, It's just Zen, nobody really cares, and blows up that dead world and just destroys all of them except for the one that is essentially hell, where all the bad souls go. Choose Goose was there. I don't know why he's there. Choose Goose was cool. The stupid freaking I don't even know what it's called, but Tree Trunks' ex, he was there. The witch that was wearing PB's shirt she got from Marceline. Just a bunch of bad eggs. Slime Princess's evil sister, all that stuff. And Finn and Jake were like, there's nothing we can do. He's deaf. What do we do? And then Jake was like, we can call people from outside the dead worlds. And Finn was like, then why didn't you call me? He's like, I think it's weird. And then they had like a quick little argument, but they tightened up. They called Princess Bubblegum. So I'm like, oh shit, Princess Bubblegum's like still alive, obviously, because she's immortal, because she's candy. And it shows the candy cane. I'm like, she don't live there no more. She lives with Marcy. But there's a statue of her in the room, and the camera pans it down, and Peppermint Butler's there, and he's got Princess Bubblegum's crown on, and he's just he goes to the Ouija board. Peppermint Butler's a demon with the dark magic, so Finn and Jake's ghost. They ask him what they can do to stop New Death, and he tells them to find the goddess of life, and they do that, and they talk to goddess of life. And they were insulting New Death, and she said, he's my son, and they were like, ooh. But she basically didn't care, because she likes bringing people to life and stuff. And it stopped working, and she was like, what's going on? And Finn said, your son is destroying the power to reincarnate. She got all pissed, built a stick with a snake wrapped around it, which is the stick that was in the Distant Lands promo art that Finn was holding in the air. Another great tidbit. And she basically told them to use it on Death. So they went back. They were heading back. Tiffany captured Joshua and Margaret, and Jermaine too. And they're still alive. And Tiffany was just like talking about how he got over Jake and how he was okay with not seeing him again until Finn showed up. He said he knew what he had to do, grabbed the cake knife. Finn and Jake are back in hell, I guess. And Tiffany saves them, tells them he'll take them to death. They didn't trust him at first, but he was a good guy after all. He takes them to death. The other Undertakers beat him up, and they're going to throw him into a bottomless pit. But Joshua and Margaret save him, because Joshua and Margaret are adventurers, and they like can break through holes and shit, and untie knots, and they save him. Joshua calls him son, and Tiffany like turns into a child, and they basically adopt him, and they're starting to raise him. Jermaine's there too. Again, love Jermaine. And then it cuts to Finn and Jake again, and they're fighting the New Death, and they're trying to figure out how the stick works, because they're hitting him, but it's not doing anything. So they basically just tag team him, beat him up, and when they freeze him, they hold him still with Margaret's talisman, where it says "Hold still." They're trying to figure out what to do, and then New Death explains that he didn't want the job, and that he was like his dad was hugging him. His dad is Old Death, by the way. His dad hugged him, and he was like pissed, but he said, or a voice hit. Now, unfortunately, I fucking spoiled myself because I was watching with subtitles. I don't really read them because I have dyslexia, but I just like them on. I don't know why. And it said the Lich, and I was like, what? And the Lich said strike now, and his son bit New Death bit Old Death, and Old Death turned into a tree, and New Death got all his death powers. And if you kill a death, the person who kills the death becomes death. So Finn and Jake are fighting over what to do because the Lich is talking shit. The Lich possessed New Death. It was like, if I become death, I can do my job, which is to eliminate all of life. And Finn and Jake were fighting. Like, they fought each other, actually. Like, in the callback to the episode where they fought each other over who's going to become death. Jake was saying Finn has so much to live for again because, Finn gets reincarnated. And Finn just wanted to be with Jake. And then the Fox showed up. The Fox told them stop fighting. The Lich broke free. And then the Fox was holding the stick the opposite direction of the way Finn and Jake were. And the stick with the snake on it, the snake came to life and bit the Lich, killing him, and the Fox became death. And he just basically restored everything, got rid of all like the stuff New Death did, turned the scythe into pillows. Everyone has pillows now, all that cool stuff. And then he asked Finn if he was ready to go. And Finn gave a speech about how he was like, when Jake died, he was all scared and didn't know what to do. All he wanted to do was see him again. And then Jake started to leave, and then Finn went to go get reincarnated. And then Jake started crying and went into the portal with him. And Finn was like, "What are you doing? I already said my vows." And he's like, "Yeah, but I'm just coming along for fun this time." And then they fist bumped. And then that was it. There was no come along with me. It was just showing the portal and the credits. And that was it. They fist bumped, they got reincarnated, and they're doing whatever now. Until they turn into Shermie until Finn turns into Shermie. I guess Jake is Beth. I don't know. But it definitely felt like that was it. I think we're still getting Wizard City, but I feel like I don't understand. I feel like this should have came after Wizard City because this felt like it was it. I don't know how I'm going to feel watching Wizard City when I know Finn and Jake are going to appear in some sort of fashion. Or maybe it takes place when Finn and Jake are already dead and we'll see their reincarnations. Who knows? But it's just like, this really feels like it's it. This is the best Distant Lands. It felt like a proper send-off. Like, the Adventure Time finale was good with all the gold stuff, but they just introduced Shermie and Beth out of nowhere, and Finn and Jake never got, like, a proper send-off. This felt like that send-off, and I just sat there crying, and I'm still crying, and I'm still emotional, and I'm still trying to get over it. Because, again, I've been with this show since I was 9 years old. I'm going to be 20 in August. And it's come to an end. And I love this show. I love everything about it. The characters, the music, the world building, just everything about it. The story. Pendleton Ward, you made a masterpiece. I know you're never going to watch this, but thank you so much for making this show. You have no idea how much this show means to me. Thank you all for watching. I'm again, trying to keep it together. It's 4:30 in the morning now. I've been crying for so long. Just thank you for watching. I don't know what vid I'm going to do. I might take a break, bro, because I can't really function right now. I might take a day off after this video goes up. Because I know Big City Green Season 2 is coming out, and I gotta make vids on that, because I love that show too. But man, overall, this special gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Again, I mean, it's the end of the video, so you either watch this or you just decided to ignore me and spoiled yourself. So I don't want you getting mad at me in the comments. You gotta hold that. And subscribe, because 50% of you aren't, and it would really help out the channel. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you, Pendleton Ward. I love this show. I don't think that anything's gonna affect me like this has. I'll see y'all in the next vid. Peace.